Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So we are here to break down big concepts into bite-sized lessons with cool visuals and real-life examples. So today we are going to study about photosynthesis, which is we all know is the process to make food among the plants. So photosynthesis is basically the process by which plants use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create oxygen and energy in the form of sugar. So let's go ahead and understand what is photosynthesis. So as I just explained, it is the process by which green plants make their own food using sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Written down below is the basic equation to represent photosynthesis in a better view for your understanding. Why are the plants green in color? So the plant's leaves are green because that color is the part of sunlight reflected by a pigment in the leaves called chlorophyll. What happens in photosynthesis is carbon dioxide and water get mixed and form glucose and oxygen in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So most life on earth depends upon photosynthesis. The process is carried out by plants, algae, and some other types of bacteria which capture energy from sunlight to produce oxygen and chemical energy, which is then stored in the form of glucose or sugar. So what is the process of photosynthesis? The basic process of photosynthesis is plants take in carbon dioxide and water from the air and soil. So carbon dioxide is taken from the air and water is taken from the soil. So within the plant cells, the water is oxidized, meaning the water loses electrons. Whenever we say anything is getting oxidized means it is losing electrons, and the carbon dioxide gets reduced means that gains electrons. In that process, this carbon dioxide and the water transforms into glucose and oxygen. Plant then releases the oxygen back into the air and stores energy within the glucose molecules. This is the basic process of photosynthesis. So here I have written down the basic equation which is used to represent photosynthesis. Okay. Next is what are the raw materials which are needed for the photosynthesis. Before this, I just want you to understand like why, what is chlorophyll, and why is plant leaves are generally green in color. So chlorophyll is inside the plant cell there are small cell organelles which are called chloroplasts, which stores the energy of sunlight. Okay, so within the thylakoid membranes of the chloroplast, in the chloroplast there are thylakoid membranes. If you have seen the structure of chloroplast, you have seen that there are thylakoid membranes. Within the thylakoid membranes of the chloroplast, there is a light absorbing pigment which is named as chlorophyll. Because this chlorophyll absorbs the sunlight from the environment, the plants are green in color. The leaves are basically green in color. So during photosynthesis, chlorophyll absorbs energy from blue and red light waves and reflects the green light waves, making the plant appear green to us. Okay. So what are the raw materials which are needed, which are required for photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide is a must, which the plants get it from air via stomata. Water, the plants get water from the soil via roots. Sunlight, the plants get it from sun, absorbed by chlorophyll, and chlorophyll, which is the green pigment in leaves, which is also a very important part for the photosynthesis. Okay. What is the site of photosynthesis? So just now I have told that photosynthesis occurs in chloroplasts, which are found in plant cells. Within the plant cells, there are chloroplasts. Within the chloroplasts, there are thylakoid membranes, and then in the thylakoid membranes, there is a light absorbing molecule which is called as chlorophyll, which absorbs light. Okay. Uh, Next is steps of photosynthesis. So photosynthesis occurs in many steps, but to break it down in a simpler version, we can understand it by two steps. One is light dependent reaction, which obviously utilizes light, and one is light independent reaction, which does not require light. So light dependent reaction takes place within the thylakoid membrane and requires a steady stream of light, like a continuous stream of light. Hence the name light dependent reaction, obviously. So the chlorophyll absorbs energy from the light waves, which is then converted to the chemical energy in the form of molecules ATP and NADPH. Okay. This is the light dependent reaction. I would again repeat. So the chlorophyll absorbs energy from the light waves, basically the sunlight, and which is then converted into the form of chemical energy, which is ATP and NADPH. Now, next step of photosynthesis is light independent stage or light independent reaction, which is also known as Kelvin cycle, and it takes place in the stroma. So stroma is basically the space between the thylakoid membranes and the chloroplast. So the space between the thylakoid membranes and the chloroplast is known as a stroma, and there is the light independent reactions or reaction of Kelvin cycle takes place. So during this stage, energy from the ATP and NADPH molecules is again used to assemble the molecule such as glucose from carbon dioxide. Okay. Now, glucose is very important. Like the whole process of photosynthesis is, like getting done in the plant to manufacture or to develop your glucose. Glucose is very important. Then glucose, after light independent reaction, glucose is formed, which is then utilized by or stored by the plant for the further process. Now there are two types of photosynthesis, C3 and C4 photosynthesis. So not all forms of photosynthesis are created equal energy. Okay, there are different type of photosynthesis, C3 and C4. Now C3 photosynthesis is used by the majority of plants. It involves producing a 3-carbon compound, which is also known as 3-phosphoglyceric acid during the Kelvin cycle. Okay, while which then goes on to become glucose in the later stage. C4 photosynthesis, on the other hand, makes a 4-carbon intermediate compound like glucose and the 3-carbon compound other than glucose during the Kelvin cycle. So a benefit of photosynthesis is just that it is producing higher level of carbons, which allow plants to thrive in environments where there is less amount of light or less amount of water to produce glucose in the by the process of photosynthesis. Okay. What is the importance of photosynthesis? The basic importance of photosynthesis is it is producing oxygen, which is necessary for all of us for life. It is a primary source of food for all living organisms and plants as well, and it is removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. These are the important points to remember about photosynthesis. Like it is doing great wonders for us and as well as the plant itself. What are the factors which affects photosynthesis? Light intensity, if the light is normal, or if the light is not normal, if the light is not is in optimal condition, then it definitely affects the process of photosynthesis in the longer run. Carbon dioxide concentration, again if it is high in concentration or if it is low in concentration, because carbon dioxide is a very important molecule required for the process of. Then again, temperature is one vital factor which uh, affects the process of photosynthesis, and water availability again is one of the important factors which uh, affects the process. Now, how is temperature affecting the process of photosynthesis? So, generally, a moderate temperature range promotes optimal photosynthesis, not very high and not very low. And if it is very high and very low, it can definitely hinder the process of photosynthesis. So, optimal range of temperature is definitely required for the process of photosynthesis. This is basically a simple experiment, given in the all the NCRTs, and experiment to like identify whether the starch is present or not. So this experiment goes about you like one has to boil a leaf in the water, then alcohol. Then the person needs to rinse the leaf and add iodine solution. So iodine basically, if starch is present, so the leaf will turn blue blackish. Okay. So this is basically a simple experiment to identify the presence of starch in the leaf. Okay. A quick recap: photosynthesis is again a process of how plants make food using sunlight. The major reactants which is required in the process of photosynthesis are carbon dioxide and water. And the products which is formed after the process of photosynthesis is glucose, which is stored in the in the plants, and oxygen, which is released back into the air, back into the environment for the living organisms. Okay. It occurs in the chloroplast of green leaves. These are the important points to remember. So this is a real life connection. It's a real life photosynthesis process is not only supporting the plants, it is supporting every living being on this earth planet, whether it is, us, whether it is herbivores or whether it is carnivores, omnivores, everybody is dependent, solely dependent on, the process of photosynthesis. Next time, whenever you see a tree, remember it's making food from sunlight. So if this helped you, please do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And do comment green power. And if you want me to explain any other topic of your choice, you are getting difficulty in, kindly do let me know in back in the comment section. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.